Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wellness Musings with Meg. My name is Meg, and I am a fully qualified yoga teacher, a beautician, and a masseuse. And on this channel, I talk a lot about yoga. I also talk a lot about health and wellness as well. Health and wellness sort of takes the spotlight in the podcast, although I am a very firm believer that yoga is wellness, it is everything to do with wellness. Today, I'm going to be talking a lot about your mental health and well-being, and I'm going to quick fire some of the easiest and the cheapest. These are all things you can do for free, things that you can do to help your mental health today, right now. You can just start, do this for free, and it will all help to kind of benefit you, benefit your mental health, your body, your mind, your spirit, everything. So we're going to dive straight into it, and I will see you on the other side. Hi, my name is Meg, and you are listening to the Wellness Musings with Meg podcast. I am a fully qualified beautician and yoga teacher who has studied and worked in health and wellness since 2017. I have been obsessed with wellness my entire life and have always wanted to share my passions more. If you love health, wellness, and yoga and want to learn more, this podcast is for you. I will be bringing you all things wellness, from diet and lifestyle to beauty tips and tricks, and of course, yoga as well. So grab yourself a green tea and find a tranquil spot, and let's jump in. I am someone who has experienced firsthand having quite severe mental health problems, or suffering with mental health. I suffered with anorexia when I was younger. And although I'm in a really good place now, I definitely dip, and everybody has good days and bad days. And I think that's a really important thing to always bear in mind, is that some days are going to be better than others because you're only a human being. We live in a world where you're expected to be at performing at 100%. You're either doing really well or you're doing awful. There's no in between. There's no just going with the flow. You want to be at a good range of happiness every single day. That's kind of normal, but I think with social media, we're so heavily influenced on and seeing the good in everyone's lives all the time. You don't see the bad, so you just assume everybody else is living at 100% all of the time, and that's just simply not the case. So I always think being kind to yourself and being honest with yourself, sometimes you need to take a step back from what's going on, and bearing in mind the way your mind is trained, it's trained to try and get all of the good feelings it can possibly get. That's just how it's built. It's built to keep you safe, and it's built to make you feel good, because if you're feeling good, you're healthy. That's kind of the very basic way that your mind thinks, which, unfortunately doesn't always work in the best way. We have evolved as a species so much to know that, for example, with food, when we were, hundreds, thousands of years ago, anything that was high in fat was going to keep you alive. That's why we love the taste of fat and sugar, because it kept you warm and it kept you alive. But now with synthetics and how easy it is, obviously every single meal it's so easy to make things high in fat and high in sugar. That's too much. We've gone the opposite direction. So I do think it's really important to remember how your brain is made, or how it thinks, because it's going to help you to hack it, I guess, in a way. So like I said, I definitely have gone down the rabbit hole of thinking that everyone else is living a better life than I am. I'm a mess. I'm this, I'm that. And it's such a negative way to live. And so I think the best thing you can possibly do is to just try and give yourself positive self-talk and be grateful. I say this, I swear, on every single episode that I do. Gratitude is amazing. It's so amazing. It is literally the secret. It is the key to happiness. Even if you just sit down and you can think of a few things, they can be tiny little things, like the fact that you can breathe oxygen, or the fact that you've got a glass of water in front of you, or the fact that you've got a roof over your head, or the fact that the sun is out, or even the fact that if it's not sunny and it's rainy and it's horrible weather, you can feel the cold. Your nervous system works. If you stand out in the rain, you can feel the rain. Oh yes, let's think about that song. Feel the rain on your skin. You need to be positive. You need to think about, like, you need to make friends with yourself. It's such a great way to start, and it is easier said than done. And yes, if you're somebody who is really, really struggling, maybe going to see like professional help, seeing a counselor, a doctor, someone you can talk it through to see what's going on. But if you can, like, just what's the worst that's going to happen if you're kind to yourself? Like, what is the worst that's going to happen? You feel good. Like that, you know, just do it. Be kind to yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and think of one thing that you love about yourself. It could be the tiniest little thing. I love that hair. That's a lovely hair. Or I love my eyes. I love my smile. Like, it starts with these tiny little things and build up and build up. Sometimes if I'm in a real funk, I'll get like a piece of paper and I will write everything that I love about myself. I'm somebody who struggles to do that, but it's really good for me to do that. Positive self-talk and gratitude, they're so good. There's nothing wrong with like making friends with yourself, like I said, and like having that confidence. A lot of people find confidence, like they mix it up with arrogance, but honestly, imagine living your life. I've said this in another episode, like being that delusional that you just like everything you do is amazing, and every time you look at yourself, you love what you see. Like, imagine living like that. And if you do live like that, honestly, I want to know how you do that, because it's amazing, like, to be your own best cheerleader and to just be so blissfully unaware of people's opinions and to not even care about them. It must be really nice to live that way. And sometimes I do think that when people are like, ugh, they're arrogant, ugh, they're this. And to be honest, I've even been like somebody who has talked like that about people. I think it comes from a place of jealousy, in all honesty. I think everybody, if they could, would be like blissfully unaware and not care about what people thought of them and their opinions. They just would love that. It would be so nice to live that way. So, positive self talk, that is the first thing, and probably like something you can do in this 1 second, in this one moment, is to just like positively talk to yourself. At the moment, I'm going through a phase where I'm actively noting as much as I can what I say to myself. And it shocks me how negative I do talk to myself. I'm a very positive person. I have a pretty good relationship with myself, but yet I still really don't say very nice things to myself. And so I'm trying to like notice it at the moment and then be like, oh, okay, I need to change that. And like notice it in your head and then change it, switch it up, flip it. Like, I was really annoyed at myself this morning because I was running late. And then I'm like, yeah, but it's okay. You're only a human being. You're running late, but you did spend longer in the shower, and that was an amazing shower. And, you know, I enjoyed washing my hair and smelling all of my products. I spent longer on my skincare. I was just in my own little world. And that's okay. Like, as long as you're not hurting anybody, it's okay. And the next thing I think is really important, that again is something that you could literally do right now, right this second, is getting some movement in. Movement outside is always fantastic because you get the added benefit of the oxygen coming into your body. But I do think that yeah, movement, we all know that exercise gives you endorphins. So get out and exercise, even if you are just taking a walk and getting outside or anything. You know, this is why I love yoga so much. Yoga asana is fantastic because you can kind of change it to any level, whether you're someone who is extremely athletic or maybe you're someone who struggles to even sit cross-legged. It doesn't matter. There's always something that you can do with yoga. So I absolutely love doing yoga. I think it suits everybody, which is why I teach it, because I like to show people that it can be really challenging, but it can also be, you know, it can be easy or easier, and it can benefit everybody, every single person, no matter what they're going through. Find an exercise that you really enjoy, and then you're getting even more endorphins from it. I'm lucky that I really love doing yoga, but really you shouldn't be doing yoga for enjoyment. Yoga, you know, you a lot of I've heard teachers say like you go and see your friends for enjoyment. You don't practice yoga for enjoyment, but I am really lucky in that I just genuinely love it. Like, it just makes me feel so good, so whole. It makes me feel like I've given myself like a gift whenever I practice yoga, because it just makes me feel so good about myself. And I think moving on from movement, fueling your body with the right stuff, that is such a good thing you can do, making the like consciously making healthier decisions. And when I say healthier decisions, I mean like maybe doing a bit of research into your gut health. The gut synthesizes about 90% of your serotonin, and serotonin is your feel good neurotransmitter. So if you can get like a good variation in your gut, it's going to help you to feel good. The science behind your diet and how you feel and your mental health is absolutely incredible. It's worth looking into, it's worth reading about. There's the dopamine diet. That's actually a recipe book, which is so cool. It literally gives you recipes that are designed to enhance your dopamine and to make you feel good. So use it, these things, use these recipes. What you place into your body as well also affects your inflammation levels, and your inflammation levels affects your mental health. So again, it's worth like being really conscious of what you're putting into your body. I'm a firm believer that everybody needs a different diet. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's digestive system is different. So I'm not going to sit here and say you should eat this and you should eat that, because everybody is different. But I think a good rule of thumb is to make sure that you are eating balanced. And I always try and get a rainbow on my plate. So when I cook my recipes, I don't go by ingredients as such, I go by color. So I need something that's red, something that's orange, something that's yellow, something that's green, something that's purple. And that's kind of how I get everything into my diet. And then from there, I'll like add stuff on. One thing I always love is like adding chili flakes. I always think that gives whatever you put on like a pop of color. Ginger is amazing because it kind of makes a really vibrant plate of food taste vibrant. So does lemon, things like that. Like these are all things that I personally love to do. And I'm lucky in that I'm somebody who does enjoy all of this stuff. But it's worth bearing in mind, and just making consciously like better decisions is going to overall help you. And I'm not saying you need to have like a ridiculously strict diet where you only eat this or you only eat that, but making better decisions is going to help you. For example, if you're snacky, instead of grabbing a chocolate bar or a bag of crisps, grab something that's going to give you more nutrients and more kind of, yeah, think of things more like nutrient value rather than calorie value. That's another thing. I think from having an eating disorder background, it's so easy to get wrapped up in what you're putting into your body. And this is why I don't count calories. I never have, and I probably never will. I simply just don't like it. I really rarely, I don't like looking at like the fat percentage. I'll look at protein percentages on stuff because obviously the amount of working out I do from being a yoga teacher and in the gym and walking the dog and all of this different stuff, I like to make sure I'm getting a good amount of protein. So yes, I do worry about how much protein intake I get, but I wouldn't say it keeps me up at night. I just want to make sure I have enough during the day to keep me healthy. But it's so easy to count like the carbohydrates and the sugars and this and that. And this, just like try and go for more nutrient stuff that's got more nutrient value in it. That's kind of how my brain works now. So if I'm hungry, if I'm snacky, or if I'm making something, I might really crave like something unhealthy, but then if I take something like replace it with something else, making healthier decisions in that you're fueling your body with more nutrients. That's where I'm going with this. And I guess the next thing from there is water intake. I cannot express enough from having a beauty background how important water is. It is literally what we are made of, and it's so important. People who tell me they don't like water, I genuinely don't understand how they're alive or how they're functioning, because you literally need it to survive. So when do they have it? Like, it really confuses me. Can't stress enough how important water is for you. Your cells need it to function. Your body needs it to function. And if your body isn't functioning, your mind might not be functioning. Water is so good for you. It's so good for your body. And the way to help you to feel better mentally is to be better physically. Another thing that I think is really important is to not compare yourself to other people and to ditch your social media, especially if you're in a real bad place. I'll take days where I just don't look at it. and that's, I just don't like looking at it. Or I usually will use social media more for inspiration now, rather than actually looking at what's going on in people's lives. I said this at the beginning, people always post the good, they don't really tend to post the bad. um and so it makes you think that they're doing well all the time. And I think as well, even when people are going through bad stuff and they post it on social media, they sugarcoat it. And then if you ever go through something similar, like surgery or pregnancy, I think is a really good example. Women who either snap back, or they're like, oh, I haven't snapped back, but they have, or they're just tiny naturally, or you know what I mean? Like, and then you go through it and you think, well, hold on, they went through something difficult, I'm now going through it. And it's like, why do I not look as good? Why do I not feel as good as they were? They were doing a live and they were like, oh guys, I'm so good, no, 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 I've just done this, I've just done that, yeah, I'm in a little bit of pain, but I'm all good. Like, they hide it so much. And then when you go through something like that, you think, what is wrong with me? How come they were okay and I'm not? But it's because they don't show you everything. So taking yourself away from social media is so good for your mental health. And then going back to like movement and fueling your body, resting. I don't know why I've put ditching social media before resting, because I actually think rest is probably more important than that. Although not being on your phone will help you to rest. So blue light keeps you awake. So ditching the screens is going to help you to sleep and to have a better quality sleep. I remember someone telling me years ago that in World War II, Nazi soldiers were doing experiments on their prisoners of war. And one of their experiments was to see what would happen if you kept somebody awake and wouldn't let them sleep. And the subjects literally reached delirium, they reached madness. So we're talking about mental health. And you know it's proven and it's been shown that if you don't sleep, it actually seriously affects your brain, seriously affects your mental health. So get a good amount of rest into your cycle, into your routine, turn the phone off, have a routine to help you get to sleep. And if you're someone that really struggles to sleep, take the time to rest. So even though you might not be in a REM sleep cycle, just sleeping or like resting with your eyes closed, meditating, maybe just giving your body a chance to heal and a chance to rest. Because when your body doesn't get a chance to heal, that's, I truly think, when a lot of like diseases can come around, because it's just your body doesn't get a chance to catch up with itself, it doesn't get a chance to better itself. So I do think resting is really super important. And again, something that you can do for free that's kind of easy to do. Just try your best to get as much sleep in as you need. So I think they recommend around 7 to 9 hours. It changes, it depends whether you're male and female. Females tend to need more sleep because of their hormone cycle. But take into account what you've done during the day. If you've been working out and exercising, and if you're new to a wellness journey, or your body's going through something, yeah, you probably will be more sleepy. So let yourself rest. And from here, I always talk about this, and these are my favorite things to do, is meditation, journaling, and yoga. I already talked about yoga for movement, but yoga is not just movement, it's also meditation. It's actually mainly about the mind, and mainly about meditation and breathing techniques, is more that than it is movement. So meditation, doing yoga, the more of the meditation side of yoga, and journaling is one of my favorite things to do. I love to sit there, I love to write about my life. No one will ever read my journals, but I absolutely, or maybe they will if I died, but I absolutely love writing in my journals, writing about my life. I write about all the things I'm grateful for, all the things I have planned, all the people I love, all the things I want to do. Like, everything goes into a journal of the day. And yeah, it's such a good release of any of this like energy and emotional stuff that's going on in your brain. Put it down on a bit of paper. It's so similar to like talking it through with somebody. And yeah, they make all the difference. So these are some little things that will make a big difference to your mental health. They are free, or you can make them free. I guess technically fruit fueling your body isn't, because you need to buy food, but still making like more nutrient dense decisions is going to help. But yeah, these are all things you can do right away. Start incorporating into your life, just having the back of your mind, thinking about when you're doing your routines. And yeah, I am going to finish this episode here because I've got my little puppy Oakley. He's literally on my lap and he's trying, I can tell he wants to go out for a walk. So I'm going to end this podcast episode here. And I look forward to seeing you again soon, practicing yoga with you or listening to this podcast. And yeah, I'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.